What's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. It's your girl, Miss Honey. I hope everybody's doing great. Today is Wednesday. Happy hump day to everybody. Hope you guys are doing wonderful. Coming on here with a quick video, and I actually don't have any notes or anything like that. I'm just spitting from the hip. But before we get into why I am doing this video, I want to welcome all my new subscribers. I thank you guys so much for becoming a part of my tribe, becoming one of the honeybees. You guys, I thank everybody who has thumbs up my videos, who've commented down below, who shared my videos. I really appreciate you guys. I thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who has shared my videos with other YouTubers. A lot of times when I do commentary about other YouTubers' channels or topics and things like that, I don't add them and stuff because I don't want people thinking that I'm trying to get them to big up me. Like, it's not. It's okay. It's okay. Those who God wants to know, he'll make it known, and you guys are a big part of that. Outside of that, I hope you guys are enjoying the content. I hope they enjoy the content. But anyway, so I've not made any notes. This subject is near and dear to my heart, and I have tried to do this video so many times. I've got several takes on my computer that I'm just not happy with. One, I'm very emotional in them, and when things are important to me, when people are important to me, when subject matter is important to me, I feel it very, very passionately, which is why I'm very, very careful about how I come on my channel and represent myself. I don't want to do things when I'm in the heat of anger or when I'm in the heat of emotionalism, because if the message is incoherent, if a person can't make it through the video, then where's the message? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to say what I need to say and it have impact. And a lot of times that means keeping your composure and not breaking down. But I'm here to discuss the whole BSmith and Gasby situation. Guys, if you follow my YouTube sister, Beautiful Soul Speak, she did a absolutely positively amazing piece on BSmith and brought us up to speed on what's going on currently in her personal life and with her marriage. I had been reading about this situation for, like I said, a little bit now. I followed a couple of YouTubers that put it out there. And then I had another video, which I can't think of which one, and another YouTuber came on and commented and asked me if I would do a video giving my opinion. And I went right away to try to get it done, and it was just so emotional. I was like, forget it. So I'm here just spitting from the hip. I think God is giving me what he wants me to say about this BSmith situation. So here goes. Okay, so BSmith, who I think is 69, I think she'll be 70 in August, if I'm not mistaken, is an African-American icon. She is an American icon. People like to say that BSmith is the black Martha Stewart, but Martha Stewart is the white BSmith. Like, BSmith was doing it before Martha Stewart was. I remember seeing BSmith back in the day. You kept magazines in your bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know why, you know. Or you took magazines to the bathroom, like Jet magazine, Essence magazine, Ebony magazines, you know, Fashion Fair, pullouts of the magazines. You took them to the bathroom and you looked at them, you know what I'm saying? And women were just different then. They were just caramel and cocoa and mocha smooth. I mean, them nude lips, the hair, just the way the garments laid on their body. It was just, y'all, covered up black women back in the day was amazing. It was just works of art, and BSmith was a huge part of that. She was in a lot of magazines and coffee table books about makeup, how to make your face up as a black woman, shades of black, beautiful black models over time. Those coffee table books, BSmith was a part of all of that. So that was me coming up as a child. Like you saw BSmith on covers everywhere. Okay, then when I got older, I started watching BSmith with Style. BSmith with Style was like lifestyle brand, decorating, floral arranging, table setting, you know, picking pillows with patterns. One of the reasons I love prints today is because of BSmith. One of the reasons why I love my natural hair so much is because of BSmith. BSmith used to have a show, Cooking with BSmith, or BSmith with Style was a show, but then she had like a cooking segment of the show she would do sometime. But anyway, it would come on, I'm sure it came on sometime during the day, but I would catch it Saturday morning. It would come on at like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and then P. Allen Smith would come on right after her. P. Allen Smith is a white dude that does gardening and sunflower arranging, that type of thing. Like, I was into that heavy. Christopher Lowell, how many y'all remember Christopher Lowell? Yeah, okay. This was before Queer Eye for the Straight Guys, before all that. Christopher Lowell was really big. Well, BSmith had shows right along that era. Those shows on faux painting and decorating and DIYs, all of those type of things were really big. Well, BSmith was right leading that pack, right? And I never will forget every show she ended with, "Thank you, Dan." I made it through it, you know. That was the closing, and when I wouldn't move from my seat until I heard, "Thank you, Dan." And there were segments where Dan would come in. Y'all, if y'all remember the Barefoot Contessa, I like the Barefoot Contessa. Anyway, her husband runs to the market and gets the cheese for the cheese tray, and he'll be back later. And while she's waiting, she makes a couple of dishes. BSmith did that. BSmith started that. Yeah, Dan would run to the store and get flowers, or he would get the lobster, or he would get the wine for the evening because they were having guests over, you know. And then he would come in just in time to taste something or to have a little bit of it while she wrapped up. But she would always, credits run, when the show would come, her ending was black screen, BSmith with Style. "Thank you, Dan." This was 4 years. 4 years I watched this. I know it like the back of my hand. Okay? I love BSmith. BSmith had a huge impact on who I am in terms of how I carry myself, how I stand, my palette. I learned about spices first from BSmith. Salty bites, BSmith, okay? A beautiful print, taking a print and just throwing it and folding it just so. Pops of color on your sofa or your bed. I know all of this stuff because of BSmith. BSmith used to have some beautiful jewelry. I do, some of y'all know, maybe some of y'all don't know, I do, you know, I make my own jewelry here and there. Pieces, stuff you see, you don't know I made it, but y'all know I don't do a lot of I don't toot a lot of my own horn, but a lot of that was influenced by BSmith. Certainly love the love of vibrant colors and beautiful prints, the love of a well-hung dress, those little touches, the handbag, the shoes, a beautiful bracelet, a nice ring. That's all BSmith. That's all BSmith. I grew up Pentecostal, and so to see a woman who was worldly and well-traveled and always polished, and what I loved the most about BSmith is she started and ended her show with a smile. When she went to town with her little basket, or she rode her bike into town and she got all of her groceries and pickings for the day, she was always, you know, ta-da, just smiling and just she was just so, still is, because she's very much alive, but back then she just was so elegant and beautiful, just reaching her hand out and bringing it back. It was just, she was a lady, man. She was a beautiful, elegant lady. And I learned so much from her. So when I learned that BSmith had Alzheimer's, I was like, oh. Because mind you, I did a lot of work with dementia and Alzheimer's patients. So I know what is inevitably so. And I just thought, oh. But at the same time, I tried to see God in the situation, because BSmith was doing interviews, and, you know, one of the things she always talked about, still having full cognitive range, she would say, I just want to remember. I just hope I remember. You know, same thing to Dan. I just hope I remember him, and that type of thing. But it's incurable. You know, once that ball gets rolling, it's like a wildfire. All the forest behind the wildfire is burned. There may be some little saplings of things, but it's never the same again. Do you know what I mean? So there was that sense of dread. There was that sense of heaviness. I felt bad for her, but at the same time, I knew I had this whole body of work I could always reference back to, and it just made me treasure and value everything that I have of hers. And still to this day, you guys can go out and buy cookware, BSmith style cookware, and you can get some of her old books and cookbooks and things like that. I was just glad for my memories of how beautiful and elegant she was at the very best and the very happiest time of her life. And Dan was always there. Whenever you would see her with Dan, she would laugh, open mouth laugh, and look at him. All of the photos, she would be looking at him so lovingly, or touching his face and looking at him lovingly. When he would come in the kitchen with the wine, and she would let him taste stuff, it would just be with such loving care. She loved herself some Dan. Loved him. Loved him. I just thought they were such a magical couple. First of all, he's immensely handsome. He's a beautiful black man. At that time, his hair was just starting to kind of get salt and pepper gray, and you could see it get a little bit more salt and pepper gray. Of course, you know, BSmith was always flawless. Now he's mostly white, still the creamiest, smoothest black skin you've ever seen. Beautiful, full black lips and nose. I mean, he is a very, very handsome and distinguished looking gentleman. And I imagine he loved BSmith. I imagine he still loves her. But it's come out that now that she is in her latter days, in terms of the progression of the disease, she doesn't have a lot of memory of who she was, and it took this really crazy turn. It took her getting lost, and you know, they wrote a book, and you know, just trying to hold on, trying to share. They been a part of Alzheimer's awareness, and that type of thing. They worked really, really hard during those early years when she was first diagnosed. Well, she's moved to her latter stages now where she is not, you know, 100% cognitively. Like I said, I'm not sure if she knows some people, if she knows Dan. I'm not sure of, you know, just where she is, other than she doesn't have a lot of cognitive ability. Sometimes people will hold on to faces, they hold on to voices, and so they know those things. They may not necessarily be able to articulate bit by bit every moment of the relationship, but they know certain things. And then, you know, that light goes out as well, you know, sadly. Well, it has come out that Dan has taken on a girlfriend. He's still married to BSmith, and how he sort of told the situation was they were at dinner with a friend, and the friend said to him, "I'm so confused. You say this is the love of your life or your soulmate." I forget which one. That BSmith is your love of your life, and this other woman at dinner with you all is your soulmate. Like, how does that work? Like a family friend asked them that. He answered honestly, and his honest answer is what he's putting in the post. He's posting about having a relationship with this woman, and the woman happens to be Caucasian. He's posting about having a relationship with this woman and loving her and feeling like she is everything that God had for him as a mate. I was infuriated. I was infuriated. Every time I saw a post, every time I saw a video, all I could hear was BSmith saying, "Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan." You know, I was so pissed off with him. I mean, being a caregiver is tough. It is hard, okay? It's day in and day out. You got to brush your teeth. You got to brush their teeth. You got to clean your body up and get you dressed. You got to clean their body up and get them dressed. You got to feed you and you got to feed them, okay? You got to make sure you good. You got to make sure they good. The only thing is you got to do it for them first a lot of the times. Sometimes you wake up and you check on them. You don't know what you might find. You don't know. Okay? And you just got up to go potty, and now you got to change the bed linen and put them in the shower and clean them up and get them ready for bed and get them to go back to sleep and get them to stay asleep. You know what I mean? Like, it's not easy. It's difficult. And clearly they had a loving relationship. That's how it appeared. Clearly they were there for one another. He did some producing and managing, and I think he still manages her empire to this day. So they were a connected couple for a long time. They had a lot of intimate moments. Like I said, it was no mistaking who was together. If you was in a room full of people and Dan and B was there was no mistaking it. Like, she was always lovingly touching his hand or his face and looking at him and smiling, and, you know, just BSmith was bad. He was lucky, blessed to have her. Honestly, I'm sure she felt the other way around, like she was the lucky one, and maybe she was at the time. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Dan. But anyway, being a caretaker is hard. And so I'm not necessarily faulting him for having gone through this situation and coming to the latter stages of it and feeling like he needs somebody to love him, to caress him like his wife used to, and lay on his chest and fall asleep breathing heavy like his wife used to. You know what I mean? Walk up behind him and touch the small of his back like his wife used to. Touch his face softly and look into his eyes like his wife used to. Dollars to Donuts, B wanted that for him too. She want that for him too. But the way you doing it, Dan, the way you doing it, no, sir. It's not right. It's not right. It's not in order. What you're doing isn't right. And people say, oh, BSmith is humiliated. Thank God BSmith don't even know. Thank goodness that she is not aware. And I have to take that stance in my mind, because if I think about that woman having an inkling of what is being done in her home, in her presence, all over the internet, what her good name is being associated with, she would be devastated. So I'm grateful that B don't know. I'm grateful that B don't know. But Dan, you know. Thank you, Dan. You know. You got a woman you don't know from Adam or his house cat living in you and your wife's home, supposed to be taking care of her, putting her hands on your wife. You don't have no idea what that woman is doing to your wife. You don't have no idea what she may be doing to accelerate or de-accelerate something with your wife. You don't know, which is why you don't trust it. It was no reason that you couldn't keep taking care of B, making sure she had good care, and doing what you needed to do privately, in decency and in order. Huh? It's no reason you shouldn't have been able to do that, Dan. But you want to go out. You want to party. You want to hang out. You want to put it on social media like y'all a couple and be in the background eating graham crackers. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Thank you, Dan. You don't have no idea what this woman doing. Is she a siren? They say that the woman is known for doing these things, getting with men and doing some illegal activities. I don't know. That's allegedly. Taking advantage of men. I don't know. That's allegedly. I don't know. But you come in and let this woman live in your home. No doubt she going through your wife's things. No doubt she's helping herself to those things. Are you letting her bathe your wife? Feed your wife? Are you serious? Are you serious? Thank God B don't know. But you know. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Just know you're going to have to answer for this. All the good you would have done is washed away. It is. Because this not right. It's not right for you to do this, especially in the public eye, the way that you're doing it. It's not right that you leave your wife, the love of your life. You know how much B loves you. You know it. And to bring, even if she told you before she got too far gone that she wanted you to find somebody else and be with somebody else, you think she meant like this in her face? Y'all photographing her eating. Y'all photographing her in her most debilitated state and dancing around her like everything's all good. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. How do you sleep at night? How do you keep food down? You owe that woman more respect than that. It doesn't matter if she knows or not. It doesn't matter if she ever knows. You do what's right. You do what's good. You do what's kind to someone who has shown you nothing but goodness and rightness and kindness. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. But there is one that sits high and looks low. And he knows. And he judges rightly. Okay? So if none of us ever know, if none of us ever say another word about it, I hope it rings in your spirit like a bell. A giant Liberty Bell. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Every time you leave this strange woman with your wife, in the care of your wife, thank you, Dan. Every time you take one of those silly Instagram photos, those embarrassing photos, you're showing her in a weakened and debilitated state. Thank you, Dan. Every time you lay with that woman, thank you, Dan. Every time you post that ignorance, thank you, Dan. I hope it rings in your spirit like the Liberty Bell. Now, I pray that BSmith, her latter days, are filled with the peace that I could never understand. I pray that God is merciful and He's kind and He is gracious and merciful to her. That she moves through her latter days with peace and solace, knowing that God loves her and that He welcomes her when she is ready, when the time is right. And I pray that everything you taste is bitter, Dan. I pray it don't sit right on your stomach till you make this right, until you snap out of it. I really do. It's not right. I pray God's hand of protection over B, that no one will hurt or harm her. Okay, I pray that she is being well taken care of, that even what the devil would mean for evil, God turns it around for good in her everyday life. Because she can't see about herself. She needs her family. Okay, but when family bails, when family wanes, God is always there. I pray that He is an ever-present help for BSmith. And even though she's suffering with this disease, that she's still able to do it with style. Okay, you guys, thank you guys so much. I didn't do too bad at all. I hope this answers all y'all questions about how I feel about BSmith. I know it was kind of long, but, you know, like I said, this was a very, very difficult subject for me. One, because I've dealt with Alzheimer's sufferers before, and two, because BSmith means so much to me, and it just hurt my heart to see this happening to her. But again, I'm so grateful that she doesn't know. I'm so grateful that she's not aware of this situation, and I pray that that is so. And I just pray that you know, God works this out as only God can. Until next time, honeybees, y'all remember to pray for me, and remember to continue to pray for B too. Okay, that's important. And until next time, honeybees, mwah, 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 I holla.